Hi, my name's Olivia, and I'm here with Chantel, who's recently completed a bootcamp course to get into tech. So in this discussion, we're going to be talking about Chantel's experience on the bootcamp and why she chose that route and what it's like for her now working in tech. So thanks very much for joining me, Chantel. And if first of all, I can just ask you to briefly introduce yourself, which bootcamp course you did, and a little bit about the job that you're doing
Okay.
subsequently.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. So yeah, my name's Chantel. I recently, well, I say recently, back in January, I graduated on a boot camp with Just IT. I did the digital skills boot camp in software development, which was a 12-week boot camp. We were based from home, so we worked online, which was really great experience. Um, and I'm currently working for a company called Lumen Research, and I've been working with them since March, end of March, and I am the software development apprentice.
Brilliant, thank you. And so what kind of inspired you and motivated you to register for a boot camp? Like, where did you find out about them? And did you always have an interest in tech, or like, yeah, how you kind of got into it?
So yeah, had always had an interest in tech. I think it never really got much past, the usual, like how to use it in the office, PowerPoint, things like that. Really didn't really get past that because I didn't really know how to. I did know people who had gone to university, and they knew how to code. So in my mind, I always thought, oh, you needed to have a degree, you needed to, be great at science or something to get to go that little bit further. Um, and I think I was on Facebook one day and I came across an article, and it was talking about then there being a shortage of people in tech, full stop. But then they were talking about there being a shortage of women in tech, and there was going to be like not so much a campaign, but a bit of a push to um, to get women interested in tech. And they mentioned there was going to be some free boot camps starting, and they had a link to the government website, and I thought, oh, maybe there might be, two or three opportunities. But when I went, there was like literally tens. I can't say hundreds. I'll say tens of opportunities, and I kind of just went through each one, found ones that I would be able to do in London, um, and picked a few. And actually, Just IT was the one that stood out for me because I just really liked the way that they communicated. They were very much, they took you through each stage. So they had like a webinar to start with, just to explain the industry, the roles, and how they would fit in. And I really liked that. Um, and then it was like a face to face. I had to do a couple of assessments, but I really enjoyed going to the office as well, meeting everybody. They seemed really enthusiastic, and I was like, you know what, I really like this company, so I was really happy to be accepted in their November cohort, and we were the fourth cohort actually. So yeah, it was still early days for them as well.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
really cool. And so you chose software development. What
Yeah.
kind of made you choose that one? Because you said there were quite a few options. What
Yes. Yeah.
chose you like down that route?
I think because I will say maybe 12, 15 years ago, yeah, a long time ago actually, I did a art and design course and I wanted to go further with it, but the next stage would have been thousands of pounds. And at that stage, I didn't have my daughter was still little. I didn't really have that option to go further with it. So I kind of just, went back to work and just carried on as normal. And I think the software development, even though, there isn't a lot, even though it's not the same as art and design, there is a artistic side to it. There is a design element to it, and I really liked that idea. And being on the boot camp helped me realize I quite like front end development because front end is very much about design and making it look great and making it user friendly. Um, Although since I've been on the apprenticeship, I've quite enjoyed both ends now. Quite enjoy front and back end. So, yeah, that was what caught my eye about software development. The fact that it was a bit more of a design side to it.
Yeah, that's cool. And I think
Mhm.
sometimes when people think of software development, that sort of creative side of it can get a bit lost. So it's really
Yes.
cool that you mentioned that. That's nice.
Mhm.
And so you mentioned like before that, you went back to work and everything. Tell us a bit about your career. What were you doing
Yeah.
before the boot camp?
So before the boot camp, I had been with a company for 5 years as a financial planner. And it's so weird because I actually came from recruitment before that, but I actually started working for them in their recruitment side, and I really liked what they were doing because it's very much about education as well as financial planning for
Mm.
their clients. So I really enjoyed that. And actually, um, since I've been learning software development and learning about creating apps with the new company, I actually want to create an app that can be used for young people. You know how they like being on their phone, where they can actually use that financial education and learn how to use their pocket money or use the money that they're earning from their first few jobs, to and to learn how to use it more effectively. That's kind of what I want to get into as other more personal projects.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, then you
Yeah,
can combine like your old and your new,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
experience together. That's really cool.
yeah.
Nice. And so with the bootcamp itself, how did you find the sort of the 12 weeks experience with like the learning
Hmm.
and the workload? Like, how was it compared to what you expected?
I think what I expected was more classroom time. However, even though we were online, however, I liked what they did because it was more half the day classroom and the other half the day own, self study,
Mm.
which actually meant that there was more room for exploration. Because if you're in self study, you might see something. Oh, what does that mean? You can go off. You can learn about it. That might lead you to something else, and actually, you've actually created your own learning experience, rather than just being in a online classroom being fed information. So I quite liked the balance between the two.
Okay, cool, cool. And what were the sort of what would you say were like the highlights and what were some of the more difficult parts for you?
Oh, all difficult. No, no, when people say, "Oh, is it easy?" I'll say it's not easy, but it's challenging and it's interesting, which is why I enjoy it so much. But I don't find it easy at all. So I find the whole thing very much challenging. But what I do like is seeing the end result. So I think my first portfolio I created, it looked good, but it didn't work very well. So I remember going back and starting from scratch and rebuilding it again and learning a framework called Bootstrap, using that for my portfolio. And the highlight was just seeing it all come together and
Mm.
it looking so much better. And actually working, not just looking good, but actually worked. um, so yeah, the highlight has always been just end result for me,
Yeah.
always. Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Um, and so if there were other people, I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who are considering maybe changing their career to get into tech and maybe even also considering a boot camp. Have you got any advice or anything that you would give to someone like that?
I would say, yeah, I would say if it's something that you're really keen on learning about, definitely take the first step and speak to the different providers and find a provider that kind of speaks to you and is teaching what you want to learn, or what sounds interesting to you, that that's going to make you want to go out there and learn more, not just be told what to learn, but to go off and explore and be curious and learn more. Um, and I would also say it's not going to be easy, so be prepared. Be prepared to walk away when you can't find the answer. Go do something else. Go watch TV. Go watch Netflix. Go for a walk, and then come back and try again, because it's going to be times where it's going to be a challenge. And don't beat yourself up, but just walk away and come back reset.
Definitely, good advice there. And now we've linked through the connection with BCS,
Okay.
and obviously the BCS mission is all about making IT good for society. What does that sort of phrase mean for you?
For me, like I mentioned, we're creating an app for young people. That's the type of thing I see. Young people really love tech. It's what they're born with. As soon as they're born, you give them a phone, so they love tech. So for me, it's about using tech to help them to learn, and to grow, to give them the information they need. Not too much all at once, but to give them what they need to make better choices for the future. Um, and I think that would help society if the young people have the tools they need. That would really help the society in the future.
Thanks very much, Chantal. It's been really good to hear from your experiences and everything, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.